I'd like to welcome everybody in Pasadena, in Mumbai, and in Kerala to our Gala. No, I think Gala. We should have more crepe paper and celebration and rock music. This is Caltech, so it's kind of boring. And welcome you here as we go through the culmination of 2 quarters of work. And I'll give a very brief introduction, and then we'll get to the main events, which are to listen to the students present. So we have the poster session. We'll do this brief introduction, talk a little bit about what this class is all about, and then we'll move to the presentation. So the idea is to build useful, customer-driven product for people at the bottom of the ladder. And we have the daughter of the man who actually coined this expression, people at the bottom, which is in a great Harvard Business Review paper. The method of attack is work on international team projects, and we do collaborative teaching and coaching with our colleagues in India and here. So we have 3 institutions, Caltech Art Center and St. Kitts. It's multidisciplinary. We have that pre-course visit, which some of you participated in, not everybody. And then we use communications technology, sometimes too aggressively. We're now doing some bridging, and we're planning on having more Skype lectures. You sometimes can get a really great lecturer, but they can't find their way to Pasadena or Kerala, so you get that person to do it by Skype. And I think it's better than not doing it at all, and it's certainly better. It's better than not having the wisdom of someone who can't get here. We've done this numbers of times. We have mentors for each team who are themselves deeply experienced in the area. And so this year, though, we extended the class to 2 quarters. It's always been a 2-quarter class, which on the face of it is kind of ridiculous because Caltech quarters are really quite short, quarter of 10 weeks. And to get something really done in that time is difficult. So on the assumption that we can do more, we extended it. So it gives us let's call it a more realistic view. We can get into more iterations on our original assumptions, which, as we all know, are almost always in error. The difficulties of a global team are not trivial. Just the simple time differences and all the communications issues, as you can see right here. We also were able to bring in a number of guest speakers. And so that has proven to be pretty cool because people get new ideas by analogy. They learn what works and what doesn't. So we're trying to filter out some of the naivete with which we would normally approach this from the beginning. And I'm also interested very much in improving the percentages of teams that actually go on to implement their ideas in India. The other thing is that this quarter the students were basically self-paced. There was very little intervention by Katya and myself. They worked out their own schedule. They worked out whether or not they were adhering to the schedule on a weekly basis, not more frequently. And they also looked at risk. What were the problems in keeping to the schedule and managing? So this to me is a genuine engineering experience to worry about things like that, which are not typically part of the Caltech curriculum. It also gives some students a taste of a different career track. They learn more about India, about the developing world, and there's always a few students who are interested in following up in their careers, at least for a period of time. We had great speakers. Dan Gross from World House, which is an Idea Lab spin-out, who works on very inexpensive housing for people in India. Eric Snowberg, who talks about the economics of development. Mariana Amatullo from Art Center, who talked about her adventures in the Art Center context of taking students and developing products for the developing world, mainly in South America. Shivani Soroya, who I found in an Economist article, who happened to live right here in San Francisco, in LA, and she came and talked about a really cool startup that she created that enables a bank to judge the credit worthiness of people who really didn't have any credit. And how do you do that? And she, using very clever use of data, was able to create a startup that seems to be growing very fast. Ken Deemer from LA Social Venture Partners, who is the social entrepreneur par excellence, and he talked about some of his adventures in building a social entrepreneuring venture. Rudy Roy, IMI, but I didn't fill in all the blanks. He's done a lot since then. He's in a solar startup. He worked for eSolar, and he's the founder of IMI. And then we had a wonderful speaker, very successful business person in building a shoe business from the bottom to a couple of $100 million this year, growing it each year in India. And that was a lecture that came from Kerala earlier this week. Instructors are Jason and my partners, Jason and Vinay. And let me right here give special thanks to our ace TA, who I said last time was the world's best TA. I don't want to insult anyone here in India, but she's done, to my mind, an absolutely fabulous job. We're still going to do this award, and that award will be to people to carry on. We expect this to be just seed money for much more money that you're going to raise for those of you who would like to continue. All the today's events will be available from the website on streaming video. We'll have the lectures themselves in PDF form, and then the final papers that people are going to write, the 15-odd pages, which give a little bit more detail and describe their plans for the future. In those cases where that's appropriate, that will also be available on my website. Lots of acknowledgments, as always. The Chandis have been incredible. Thomas Verghese, I hope will be here. Media Center, it's been fantastic. Rajiv, thank you very much. We appreciate your support. And Raina Shah from the Georgia Housing and Student Discovery Fund. By the way, in the latest E&S Journal, you know that magazine that comes out every quarter, there'll be an article about this class, which should be pretty fun to read. Okay, Jason, did you want to say a few words?
Again, I would like to add that the last 2 terms were remarkable, and we had a dedicated bunch of students. And because we extended it to 2 quarters, the students were able to bring the products to a certain level of completion, and they have gone to the customer multiple times, and they have been able to get feedbacks. And the good thing is that there are customers who are still waiting, and they are ready to implement the product once it reaches the final stage. So that's a good thing that came out of the last 2 quarters. And I would like to introduce, there are some guests we have here. So I would like our guest to introduce himself.
Yeah, I am Philip Thomas, a neighbor from the school here. It's about 10 minutes drive from here. I finished my graduate study in IIT Chicago. That was in '64. I returned to India, and now I'm an industrialist, manufacturing machinery for rubber processing units in Kerala and neighborhood. And I was very much happy to be associated with the school for the program here, and I hope that will be a wonderful program here. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
Hi Ken.
Hello, hello.
It's nice hi, good evening. So I think our students have had a wonderful experience, and we have been telling them it was possibly the best thing that can happen in an MBA education here and for the engineering students here. And I hope that we will be keeping in touch, and we will be meeting again and again. So this association will continue.
Thank you. Thomas Verghese.
All right, Ken.
All right.